Hi, and welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today we're going to be talking about House of Hades by Rick. Now, Mark of Athena, I liked. I did not love it. I think out of the books in the series so far, it was my least favorite. And except for the ending, which, is like horrible and really sad. This book surprised me. It wasn't my favorite in the series because Son of Neptune will always be my favorite. That book is flawless. But I think I might have probably liked this one more than The Lost Hero. And before we start with the actual discussion, look how pretty this cover is. I literally, the day this cover came out, I fangirled for a while. I think the main thing about this book, when I finished, I asked myself, Rick Riordan, why must you do this to our characters? Why must you do this to Percy and Annabeth and everybody? This book is extremely character-driven, I feel like, and the characters just grow and change so much, and I have to deal with just so much hardship. It's so sad. So I would definitely recommend this book and this series if you have not read Percy Jackson yet, which you should have. So now we are going to get into spoilers. Okay, I think I'm going to go through this in kind of like a character-by-character thing. First of all, we have to talk about Percy and Annabeth. At the end of Mark of Athena, that was just tragic. So I think everyone was really interested to see what their relationship was going to be like, because even before this book came out, Rick Riordan said that this book was going to be focused on Percy and Annabeth, which is what the fandom wanted because we are all just Percybeth fanatics. And this book didn't disappoint. I really loved seeing their relationship develop. Seeing them go through Tartarus was just interesting. I mean, they just had to go through so much and I think the best thing is they had each other. If either of them had to go through Tartarus alone, they would not have made it. They needed each other to get through it. And there was, even though it was really sad, there was just so many cute moments. They said, I love you. And it was just, they were there for each other. Basically, every time they had a scene, I was sobbing on the inside. My fangirl heart has finally been satisfied. Not really, because whatever. But I loved seeing them. Their scenes were probably some of my favorite in the book. I just loved seeing them go through Tartarus. And another one of my favorite characters was definitely Bob, who Percy interacts with. I remember reading something about him, and I think one of the Demigod Files or the Demigod Diaries a while ago. And he was just adorable. He added a lot of comic relief, especially with the kitten, Small Bob. I love kittens. But I felt really bad at the end what happened to him. I mean, that was sad. But, I mean, there's just characters that have to go sometimes. Another one of my favorite characters is definitely Leo. I love Leo to death. Besides Percy and Annabeth, he's definitely my favorite. I love him. He's so funny, and he's just a sweetie. I love him. And I felt like in this book, we didn't get to see him a lot, which wasn't good. But what I want to talk about, and what everyone else wants to talk about, is this thing with Calypso. So, Calypso has a kind of a strong-ish role in the Battle of the Labyrinth. Percy basically almost dies and gets sent to Calypso's island. And we kind of all forgot about her, except he shows up on this island and we're just like, Calypso? What? I'm not sure how I feel about Leo and Calypso's relationship, though. I mean, it was adorable. I'm not going to say that. A lot of people don't really know who to ship Leo with because all of the fans of these series are massive shippers. I know there was a lot of people saying that he should end up with Raina. I personally was shipping him and Hazel for a while. No offense to Frank. I think I might still ship them, even though I know they're not going to end up together. But just Leo and Calypso, it was so cute seeing Leo have an actual relationship. It really got to see him grow as a character. You got to see him act more mature, and just the ending was sad though when he left Calypso. I think they are gonna not end up together, but we are going to see more of them in Blood of Olympus. I hope so. I hope we do, because I love Leo. If we could get more Leo POV, that would be awesome, because Leo's amazing. And now, the one character that I like that everybody else hates, I swear no one likes him except for me, is Nico. I said it, I love Nico. In the Percy Jackson series, I just felt bad for him in Titan's Curse, and then I kind of forgot about him for a while. I mean, he's prominent, I just wasn't really focused on him. And as this series has gone on, I think in each book he's played a more prominent role, and I just feel so awful for him. He's basically alone. After his sister died, he didn't really have anybody. And then, when him and Jason are going to see Cupid, we get the biggest shocker of all. It takes a lot, and I mean a lot, to surprise me in books. I'm usually pretty good with figuring out what's going to happen. This Nico revelation just blew me away. Like, I was not expecting it at all. Basically, Revolution, Nico has had a crush on Percy for we don't know how long. I'm not sure how I feel about this because I've seen some mixed opinions. It's definitely not what anyone expected. I mean, it feels a little forced because I don't know, it's just if no one expected it, because you knew they always had a complex relationship, but I always thought it was because he blamed Percy for Bianca's death. But that's not the case because they're at Cupid and then Jason's thinking like, oh, Nico has a crush on Annabeth. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. That's so dumb. Why would he have a crush on her? And then they said Percy and I'm just like, I'm very intrigued to see where that's going to go, if that's going to lead to some type of confrontation between the two of them maybe. That's going to be an interesting thing to point out. I feel like even though Nico is prominent in this series, he's not one of the main characters. And especially now since he's going off with Reyna, who's another one of my favorite characters, and Coach Hedge to kind of return the Athena Parthenon to Camp Half-Blood, I think that's going to be really interesting to see how he's going to end up at the end of the series, because I personally love Nico. Let me know if you guys like him too down below. Other characters. Hazel was awesome in this book. She was so badass. I had mixed feelings on her before, but in this book, she really showed that she was worth something. She did so much. She learned how to manipulate the mist, and she learned through Heki. I just thought it was so interesting to see her develop, because in the past, she hadn't had a lot of self-confidence. And then in this book, she kind of bloomed into, like, just this confident person, and she was awesome. Now, my least favorite characters. Frank. Not a huge fan of Frank. No offense. I mean, I don't hate him. He's just, I don't find his POV as interesting. And Jason, I feel like Jason just gets painted in a bad light. He gets kind of a bad rap because he is very cocky. And he had, as I think Christine from Poland Banana Books was mentioning, he kind of spent a lot of this book just sitting on his ass and just doing nothing, which is okay. I would just like to see him play more of a role in the next book, because the last two has just kind of been him acting like an idiot. I would also like to see more of Piper's POV in the future, just because we didn't see a lot of her in this book, and I feel bad for Piper because so many people, especially on Tumblr, give her a bad rap. Now, I'm not her biggest fan, but she is still not just some Mary Sue character. I don't know how people can say that she is. Okay, so now the ending in this book turns out when we get to the Doors of Death. Now, I'm expecting some, big, fancy thing, and it's an elevator. I was shocked. I was not expecting an elevator. And the ending in this book, it was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't what I was expecting. I felt like it was kind of anticlimactic, because it was still a big battle scene, but I mean, after Mark of Athena, I don't really know how you can compare to that. At least this one, though, was not a huge cliffhanger. It left me wanting the next book, but I'm not just, freaking out, oh my god, need now. Even though I would love to have that book now. Let me know down below what you guys thought of this book. If you loved it, didn't like it. I don't think I've talked to anybody that didn't like it yet. I think I give it 4 or 4.5 out of 5 stars. I had my little issues with it, because usually I'm a quick reader. Now, this did take me about a week to read. I've been super busy lately, but I just didn't really have when you get a book and you just, want to devour it? I did not have that urge with this book, even though it was still really good. I'm so excited to see the end of the series. The last book is called Blood of Olympus. I'm so sad to see it end, though. I've literally been following these characters for this is 6 years now. And I just hope it ends well, but it's Rick Riordan. He's going to make it end fine. They're amazing. I just hope someone doesn't die. If Leo dies, I'm going to cry. That's not even a joke. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you again soon.